So there's some shenanigans going on in my state and the Florida state government. I made videos and I talked about that people need to take back their states, and that's in a sense just as important as taking back the federal government, and in some ways actually even more so. Things like voting, a lot of your laws that you have to abide by are made on the state level. During the 2020 election, all those shenanigans that were going on, these were issues with the states, not with the federal government as a whole, but with the states. Because of state laws, the states allowed for all that fraud that went on, especially in the states that we know all about, like Arizona and Pennsylvania and Wisconsin. But there's some shenanigans in the Florida government that's up in Tallahassee, which is the state capital of Florida. My representative, my state representative, her name's Monique Miller. I've actually met her, and she was a Liberty candidate, supposedly MAGA candidate, and her big issues were voter integrity and Second Amendment issues. That means Florida is one of the few states that does not allow for open carry. She wanted to decriminalize open carry in the state of Florida. What she did is she drafted a bill to do that, but she kept it in draft. So nobody can introduce a bill in the state as long as this is a draft. And she's been holding on to this. She's been working with the rhinos in Tallahassee because, again, because of shenanigans, the speaker there, which is a rhino, has been threatening people. Says, do not do any kind of MAGA type reforms in the state of Florida. I will destroy you politically. They need to grow a pair. Seriously, you can't allow these people to intimidate you. You have to stand up and say, this is the right thing to do. The state of Florida, in a lot of ways is better than a lot of states, but we got a lot of issues that need to be cleaned up here as well still. And I would make it a point that this needs to be cleaned up. I don't care what you say. This bill needs to be at least brought, for a vote. And this way we can delineate who we need to primary and who we need to keep for the next election. It's unbelievable that we have, these kind of issues, especially with the way the political tide has been turning in the country, and yet we still have these establishment hacks that threaten people. Now, I don't know the specifics of the threat. I would imagine this has to do with money, perhaps blackmail, who knows? But you cannot allow these people to get away with this kind of stuff. If you do, it doesn't get better. It gets worse and worse and worse. So you either stand up now or you suffer the consequences. And I'll leave you with a quote by Ayn Rand. She says that I am not brave enough to be a coward. So in other words, there are consequences to cowardice, and it's worse than it would have been if you just would have faced it right then and there. So I'll put a link in the description below. This is written by a retired Orlando police officer. This guy obviously knows the politics in Florida. He's been involved in civil service. So I'll put a link in the description below of this article.